Good morning, good evening, good night, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the JustAskChar Advice Channel. It's a TGIF affair around here, so stick and stay. Don't you dare go away. The show will start momentarily. Before the show begins, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about the happenings going on with the Gray Regime family. Starting on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, it is the Commander, Cerulean Gray, with correction and instruction. All your social, economic, and political ideologies you can find right here with the Commander of the Gray Regime, Cerulean Gray, Mondays on the Gray Regime YouTube channel. And moving on to Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, you can check out The Warrior, and I'm talking about Just DeAndre, each and every Tuesday, 6:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, right here on the Just DeAndre channel. It is called The 1/3 Show. My man brings you an eclectic blend of news and articles from around the world and back again, folks, right here on this same YouTube channel, each and every Tuesday, 6:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Just DeAndre, another one of those great warriors from the Gray Regime. Moving on to Wednesday, we got to leave the YouTube streets on Wednesday and head on over to Classic R&B Jams Radio. Starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can check out On the Beat and Keep the Beat. At 8 p.m., it is DJ Music and Char Willie with On the Beat, hitting you with some news and hot topics from around the world. Starting at 9:30, Char Willie takes off her talk show hat and slides into the DJ booth with Classic Ruby, where they play a blend of great music from the decades and have some great conversation about each and every song. And don't forget, folks, it's an interactive chat room down over there at Classic R&B Jams as well, so you can come twerk in the chat room, post a few gifs or a few memes, whatever you like doing. Just make sure you check it out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over there on Classic R&B Jams Radio. On the Beat and Keep the Beat. Soulful sounds all around town, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you're inclined to, please feel free to leave your financial contributions as well. And for those of you who would like your letter read on the JustAskChar channel, please send all your emails to justaskchar@gmail.com. That's justaskchar@gmail.com. Now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here is the star of the show, Char Willie.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome, TGIF. How are you? What's going on? What's happening? Oh, well, I want to sneeze. Let's see what happens. Can I do it now? It's going away. I think it's going away. Okay. It's come back. Well, it's nature, so whichever way it's going to come out, it's not. But I will say, happy to see you all. Thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you for your time again. I know how important it is. And, I always want to thank people because, again, not only is your time precious, there are so many people that do a lot of streams and everything, and people are busy, and coming back to watch a live stream sometimes is tough, unless you really like the content, So I say keep them short, get in and get out. That's the way I look at it. But again, I hope you guys had a great week. My week has been very interesting, and I hope this show is very interesting. There's a couple of mixed messages in the title. You're not quite sure what's happening. You look at the thumbnail, you're like, What's happening? There's gonna be some violence going on. No violence. Um, it was going to be about words because that's the name of the. Well, no, I take that back. The name of the video that was I'm pulling from last year was called "Why Ask," and it has to do with words. People use words for whatever reason to pass the time, to be sincere, um, try to make you feel comfortable, all of that and the above. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about that. So, this will be a type of show that it appears that we're all over the place, but we're not. We're only going to really focus on situations, which can be about anything, when people say things and they don't mean it, or they do mean it, but they just can't really, they wrote a check and there's nothing in the bank, so they can't cash it. They just can't. So that's pretty much what the show is going to be about. Um, what else? I don't have any free stuff to tell you about. It's just so sad. I done ran out of free stuff to tell you. That's only because I had a busy week, so I haven't checked my emails as thoroughly as I normally do. But I have looked. I haven't seen anything that just popped out. Just a reminder about the Apple lawsuit, because I think the time is coming near to claim your, was it $25, I think it was, or $15 per device, because they slowed it down, the battery, when you updated it. Um, I have no idea which live stream I mentioned it on, but that's another thing. The way I look at it, if you value the show, you're going to watch, you're going to come in the beginning, get the information, like, oh, I can use this. Okay, this will help me out. And if not, then hey, it is what it is. I have to remember sometime when I talk to some of my friends that even though I said on live stream, I can't say that they were listening. So sometimes when we talk about something, I'm like, I didn't I tell you? I'm like, oh, that was the live stream. Okay, my bad. But yeah, you guys, I hope you all stay safe because the numbers has gone up, and yeah, numbers has gone up. I don't know, it's some kind of curfew we got going on in Illinois, which is Chicago. Our stores are closing earlier. I don't know what else is going on, but our grocery stores and everything are closing up earlier. I was trying to figure out what was going on. I'm like, this don't look right, but then I connected the dots. I'm like, the numbers are going up. So it is, guys really have to try to stay safe, because now, again, it's getting colder or cooler, damp, and this is the time people sneezing, coughing, and all of that. So be safe, everybody. Be safe. And without further ado, enough of me rambling. We have Classic Ruby, everybody. Classic Ruby.
Thank you, thank you. No pictures, please. No pictures. No autographs until after the show. Thank you. Hello, hello. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Not too shabby, not too shabby. TGIF and all that good stuff. How you doing?
Yeah, I am glad it's Friday. I tell you, my week has been long. It has been long.
Boy, I agree with you. I'm happy this week is ending. Fingers crossed. Next week is a shorter week, right? So
Yeah.
just somehow, I don't know. Maybe next week they'll just skip Tuesday and Thursday for us. Like
Wouldn't that be
I wouldn't mind
nice?
that. Right? I wouldn't mind that at all. I'm just saying. Just, think about it, universe. Think about it. All right.
Okay. Yeah. So, as I mentioned in the introduction, um, I think it's going to be interesting. It may seem like some venting, and some of it will be probably, but it is what it is. So
Mhm.
I will go
All right.
ahead and play some of the video to get an idea of where we're going tonight.
Mhm. All right.
And I hope that's all right with everybody.
Ooh, it's all right with me. Ruby is interested. All right.
All right, good deal. Okay, which do I pick? Chrome tab. And then I choose which one? This one. Boom. Share audio.
All right.
Boom shakalaka. Today is a little bit different. I don't have an email for advice. So I was going to give just a few thoughts that I had on my mind within the last 24 to 36 hours. I was thinking about how people say things and they really don't mean it. And I wonder why we do that as a people. We say things like, if you need any help, let me know. Or I'll be praying for you. Or I know someone who knows someone and I can help you with that. Just give me your email and I'll email you some information about blah, blah, blah. Oh, I know how you can save on that. I don't have the information on me, but I'll get back to you. And I know everyone experienced this one. Hey, how you been? Haven't seen you in a while. You know, we'll have to get together sometime. You know what? I'm going to give you a call and we're going to hang out sometime, okay? And what I was focusing on, what happened with me in the last 36 hours, there was someone in the class that I'm in, and she was talking, and she saw that I was studying. And she's ahead of the class because she was there a little bit before I got there. So she was talking, and she noticed that, it was irritating. So she had asked me, she said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Am I being too loud?" And I said, "Not at the moment." "Okay, well, I'll try, to lower my voice, okay?" And I said, "Okay, I appreciate it. Just let me know." I said, "Okay." So next thing I know, a little bit later, she starts singing. And it really wasn't singing, it was more like um, moaning. Something like that. So today in class, she's talking with this guy, which is the seat next to me. He was sitting there. And he doesn't want to study, which is, his choice. He doesn't have to. Maybe he doesn't need to. However, he says that he does. So what he wants someone to sit and talk with him one on one and I guess challenge him with the questions. Not for certain, but I know he wants one on one because I've seen him stop a couple of people and say, "Hey, let me get over there and let me sit with you, and we're going to go through some of these questions." And I've seen people turn him down. So he's sitting next to me and he has this material in front of him, not paying any attention to it. He says something to the young lady next to him, which is the one I was speaking about, and they start a conversation. Now, at this time, we're getting to crunch time. We have this big exam on Friday, and there's a lot of information to cover. And because the week was short last week because of the holiday, they were there before us. So I had waited till the lady stopped talking. And then I asked her, I said, "Excuse me." I said, "I know it seems like you're speaking low." I said, "But your voice is carrying." Oh, okay, I'm sorry. And then I said, and he doesn't need to listen to anything other than this work. So he does a double take because I'm speaking to him or speaking about him, and he's sitting right there. And I knew that would be the reaction. And she just agrees with me. She said, okay, okay, okay. So once he does his double take, I said, yes, I said it. And he hunched his shoulders. He giggled a little bit. And they both started, they both were quiet, which was the effect that I wanted. So he suffered for the next 2 hours, sitting there, going through his phone, pretending to do something. And I knew that's all he wanted, some entertainment. But anyway, I just found it interesting that people say one thing and they really don't mean it. And I could tell she really didn't mean it. And it's okay, that's fine. It happens. So, another experience I've had, and this was a long time ago, I was on crutches. And I was still a teenager. I think I was 19. And my mom had asked me, she said, if you need anything, just let me know. And I said, okay. So maybe, I'm not sure exactly how long it was, but I asked her for something. And I don't even think I called her. I think she was just passing my room. And I asked her, I said, could you pass me whatever it was? And I think it was in the kitchen. So she was frustrated about it. And it upset me. It made me so upset because that was the first time I asked her to get me something. And not only that, she asked me to ask her if I wanted her to get me anything. So tears coming out my eyes. And she saw that. And then she said, oh, I'm sorry, I'll get it. And then I asked her while starting to cry, why did you ask me to ask you if you didn't want to help me? And then she started crying. That was just something I remembered that happened a long time ago, experiencing people saying one thing and really not meaning it. All right. And what I'll do is I'll mention some other stuff. That's what we'll talk about. People saying one thing and not meaning it, not being sincere. Some people just flat out lie. I got your back. Just tell me what you need. Oh, we have an open door policy. Just come, we could talk about it. We could work things out.
Mhm.
All of those terms. Lord have mercy. It irks me and I cannot hold it. You know, I cannot hold back. I have to be myself. I just have to say what's going on here.
Right.
I just have to say it. What is the
Mhm.
problem?
Well, I think this falls into two different camps, right? So, because you do have the camps of people who are full of shit, and then from there, that falls into two different camps.
Right.
People who are intentionally saying these things to mislead you now, to either make themselves look like they're, the greatest people on earth, or maybe to convince you to do something for them now, and they get to benefit from their promises that they're giving you. And then the people on that side who, they know that they're lying, but they're trying to be nice, right? So it's like it's not really for them to benefit as much as they're trying not to hurt your feelings. So, oh my God, we should catch up with coffee soon, right? Like
Hmm.
they're doing, it's like the socially acceptable thing. They don't want you to feel rejected. They don't want you to feel like, oh, I never cared about you, you never mattered to me, right? So they say one of those things that honestly most people never do follow up on. But it's a nice way of saying, hey man, at one point you really meant a lot to me and I really cared about you, but honestly my life is real busy. I got a lot of friends. I don't really have time for another one right now. So it's like this in the middle ground, right? Yeah, like, you know, so they're trying to do something nice, you know. So those are the people who don't mean it. But then you got the other side, right? And these are the people who say something, and when they say it, they mean it. It's not that they said it lying, right? They, with their whole entire heart in that moment, they meant it. So then why don't they follow through? See, now those people fall into different camps too, right? So you've got the camp of people who, when they look at you, like seeing is believing, right? So they look at you, they see you're in pain, you know, and their heartstrings pull and twist and turn, and they go, I gotta help because I love you. I gotta do it, right? But then, you know, eventually, right, you know, that moment's over, and the heartstrings stop pulling, and they go back to being their regular lazy selves. And so when you ask for the thing, now they're like, you know, 10 steps removed from it, and they're like, man, couldn't you just, man, isn't there anyone else, anyone, no one else can help, no one, right? Because they're lazy. It's not that they made the promise in the moment. They really thought, man, they would be willing to do anything for you, right? But like, you know, time passed, and they're lazy people. That's just what it is. Or they're busy people, right? So they really did want to do this thing. They just forgot to calculate the fact that they've got, you know, 3 kids and a this and a that, and their job is 18 hours right now a day, and da 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 da. And they forgot to add you into the mix of their life, right? They really do want to help you, but do they actually literally have the time and the physical ability to help you without it, you know, literally taxing their lives to the point that, you know, maybe their kids or, you know, one of their other responsibilities is going to suffer? Well, no.
Right.
So they shouldn't have made the promise, but they didn't do it because, you know, they really meant it in the moment. They were really hoping that you would need help on Saturday between 1 and 9 when the kids were at a sleepover. You know what I mean? Like, they were hoping that the time you needed help was that one time they had free. And then you got the other people who, you know, they say that they're going to help. They want to help. And then when you ask them for help, they realize that they're not capable of doing what it is that you ask them to do. So maybe they don't drive. So man, I will drive you anywhere. I'll drive you anywhere. And you saw them in a car. So you're thinking, okay, they'll drive you anywhere. So then when you go, hey, can you drive me over to the bank? And and now they're all humming and hawing. It's because they don't own a car, right? They were fronting, right? They were driving their mama's car in that moment. But you don't know that. And they don't want to admit they don't actually own the car, right? I'm gonna have to check on some things. Meanwhile, they have to ask mama, mama, you go to work yet? Can I borrow your car? I gotta drive my friend to the bank, right? Like, yes, at 40, I'm talking about grown people. Yes. You know, or you know, they act like they're big spenders and they really care. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna help you out. You just ask me for money, but they're not, because they don't actually have that money. They're actually in more debt than you are. So you have to borrow $200. They don't have $200. They would. They really just don't have it. Why? Because legitimately, they're stupid and they're fronting, and they think, well, I have to look like, you know, I'm rich out on the street for people to like me. But in reality, they're like, again, they're broker than you, right? So I think you have to, you know, you can't just put everyone into that one category, because, you know, there's such big extremes of, you know, the person who's just lied for, you know, for some benefit is a very different person than the one who 100% meant it. But honestly, like, with the way that their lives are, they just literally can't do it. You know, they're trying their best, right? Like, for example, with myself, so I'm the kind of person, and I'm totally with you, I hate that. In fact, I dedicated my whole entire life towards being the one person in my family, friends, whoever's lives that doesn't do that. I'm the one person you can call 3 o'clock in the morning. I will leave my house. I will sit. I once sat in front of a hospital in my car for 3 days with my best friend when her dad was in the hospital. Sat in the car. You know, just to be there, so that way when she wanted to come out for a smoke break, there was someone there. You know, I'm that kind of person, and I dedicated myself to being that person because they don't exist. That one person who will drive you to work no matter what. That one person who will drop everything to da 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 da. I was that person for the people I loved.
Yeah.
Right? And but then, as my health got worse, I suddenly stopped being able to be that person. So I don't now make the promises that I used to, because I
Mm-hmm.
know I know for sure, like, listen, me making a promise now, boy, I'm hard pressed to be able to follow through on a promise that doesn't already work with this and that. Da, 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 it's a whole thing. But I
Right.
used to. There was that transition period before I recognized, okay, listen, I got some limitations. I would still make the same promises I used to. And I meant to follow through
Mm.
with them. So that I didn't want to follow through with them. I set every alarm inside of my house. I told 6 different people to call down my phone if I don't answer. I did everything possible to wake up on time, to be able to get to you, to drive you to your important exam. That is my goal in life, right? And what would happen? I'd sleep through every alarm, or I would get up in my sleep and turn them off. I do stuff in my sleep, like dead ass asleep, and I will go walk around the room, turn off all the alarms, and go right back to sleep like it never happened. Or I'll sit up and have conversations with people to convince them I'm awake, so they go away, so I can go back to sleep. Like, my body will do anything to go back to sleep. It's terrible. But yeah, so it's like, I didn't mean to let you down. I really wanted to not let you down. But at the same time, I probably shouldn't have made that promise. I'm not really in a good place right now to be able to follow through with it. So, and to me, I'm like, that's why I stopped making the promises. Oh, but
Right.
da, da, da. Well, listen, you try to find someone who can give you 100%. If you haven't found anyone, and that day comes, and I happen to be awake, and my health happens to be working out for us today, and I happen to this and I happen to that, and everything aligns, I will do it. Right? And I have to be that person. And I hate being that person, but it's so much worse to be the person you promised up, 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 down, sideways, you're going to be there, and then you're not. Right?
Right.
So
I
it's
agree.
like, like you have to, but you got to weigh the different people for different reasons. It's like, is it good intention, bad intention? Is it lazy intention? Is it evil intention? Is it, I don't really care, I just want to look good in front of my friends intention? There's different intentions for different reasons, different strokes for different folks, as they say.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, hopefully we can have some stories that will align with all of that, which you have just
Mm-hmm.
shared a few.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I have a story with, I'll go to the workforce. I'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
That flexible schedule. Yeah, flexible schedule. We have flexibility. Yeah, okay. Okay, flexibility. Well,
Mm-hmm.
flexibility did not work for me. I put my request in a month early. It was November. I put
Mm-hmm.
my request in for December. And what happened when the time came that week,
Mm.
finally, when I finally got a response, the answer was no.
Oh no.
But everyone else can do all that they want to do.
Mm.
I
Hmm.
mean, flexibility was everywhere, but
Hmm.
flexibility wasn't there. And, I did talk about that. And I was so glad that the supervisor I was working with just told me, say, look, you're here all the time. Go ahead. Don't worry
Mm-hmm.
about it. I'm not going to say anything. Do what you need to do.
Right.
And I'm just still was confused with the flexibility. I mean, why you sit there in a meeting and say all these things and what we can do and all of that, and I ask you, I do it formally. I use the email system. I got a record, but what happened? I got nothing. They gave me
Yep.
nothing.
Yep. Yep.
Flexibility, okay, flexibility. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know what? And see, the thing is, though, right? A lot of people are not on the up and up. Just gonna be real, right? They're not on the up and up, and they know that the system is not on the up and up. They know everyone lies. They know that your boss is lying to you. They know that the rules are lying to you. So they don't even bother with all of that. This is what they do. They go, oh, okay, well, I need time off. And yeah, oh, I put in a request. They say access denied or whatever. The first time they try with a small thing. If they ever get access denied, next time they're not asking. They'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. And that's where people get that mentality from, right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, if you're not going to follow through on your rules, then you know what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm following them, because you set your rules. You said flexible hours. You said I just apply and let you guys know you're going to let me off. Now all of a sudden you're not letting me off, but all these other people are asking for forgiveness instead of permission. It's working out for them. See, that's where people start getting these shady attitudes from, because when they do follow the rules and they're trying to do things the right way, they're not rewarded for it. So then they go, you know what, why bother, forget that, good luck.
Yeah, I don't like that, because in my opinion, your word is supposed to mean something. And if you can't stand on it, then, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
You know
Um,
what, Char? It
mhm,
reminds me of, and I think I've told this story before, but when I worked for Bell, it was this big mobility company. And remember, like, I'm only in customer service, but Bell, the company, only hires from within. So if you want to be in their marketing, any of their big departments, you still have to start at customer service. You have to start from the ground up. So in my hiring class, I had a bunch of people who had like master's degrees and stuff, right? Like most of the people had master's degrees. Everyone had at least an undergrad. And then there was me, who had not even graduated from high school. So I was in way over my head, right? And I'm like 19 years old and whatever, sitting in my little training class and whatever. So then we get to the floor, and we have to bid for our schedules. And then you have to bid for your vacation time, right? So when your bid comes up, then you're allowed to put in, oh, I want this schedule, or I want this vacation. And so, I didn't really care that I couldn't get, my 2 weeks vacation in June or July or whatever. That wasn't my issue. But I needed the day of my birthday and the day after my birthday off. I needed it off. I was not
mhm.
coming to work. 100% I'm not coming to work. I know this. I'm going to be drunk on my birthday, and I'm going to be probably still half drunk / hungover the day after my birthday. So I'm not coming. So I need the days off. But I couldn't get them off, not because the vacation days weren't available. They were available because it was in the middle of the week. It was because I was too new, right? I didn't have seniority or whatever. I wasn't allowed to bid because that's like a prime vacation spot or something stupid. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I went to my boss, because my word means a lot to me too. I went to my boss. I said, listen, I need to schedule emergency days for these 2 days, right? And she was like, emergency days, why? Do you have like a surgery or something? Because that's what emergency days are for. They're for, like, I have a surgery or a dental appointment, something that I absolutely need the whole days off. I said, well, it's my birthday. I didn't even lie. It's my birthday.
Mhm.
I'm going to be drunk, hungover. I need these 2 days off, right? So she goes, so that's it's not really a valid reason to use the emergency day system. I said, listen, it's April, okay? My birthday is in August. I'm telling you from now, I'm not going to be here. 100%. There's no maybe, I'm not coming. So if you want the call center properly, armed all day for those 2 days, you should schedule me as being off work. If you deny the emergency days, I am telling you now, if you deny them, I'm still going to call in sick. I get sick days. I'm still going
Mhm.
to call in sick on those days. So I'm still not coming. So you can either just give me the days off, or just know I'm not coming in August 2nd, August 3rd, right? So she looked at me and she's like, are are you playing with me? But I'm being serious. That's what it is. Like, I'm telling you. And it's funny because eventually, I don't know what she put on the request form, but she pushed through the days, and got me the emergency days, right? But I'm like, see, that's the thing. Like, my word means a lot to me. I'm not sitting there. I actually care that you guys have enough people on and this and that, and like, I'm not trying to play games with your company. But it is what it is. And if you start setting up a whole bunch of things, oh, well, the vacation days have to be available. Oh, look, it happens to be available. Oh, sorry, you're not allowed to use those vacation days. What? Why? They're available. They're not blocked off. That means, no, those are for people with higher seniority. But the people with higher seniority didn't want them.
Right.
Or by the time it got to me, it wouldn't be available. Yeah, but we have to still keep those blocked off. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I know all about that. Welcome to the panel. Excuse me. Welcome to the panel, Vonda. Welcome.
Hey, girl. Hey, what's up?
Hey, Char. Hey, Ruby. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. What's going on?
Always
Okay,
pleasure, girl.
thank you. Now, okay, my take on this, writing a check that you're behind can't cash. Now, my experience with that is that I just tend to not take people up on that because people don't mean it for the most part. And that's just my experience. I'm not going to say everyone who does it doesn't mean it. Or sometimes people can tend to overextend themselves and say that they're available for something when they really don't have the time. And sometimes you can see that. You have foresight and you can see that. You know? And my thing is that I've been in positions to where I've actually placed that in someone else's hand and it fell through and I was left with my ass out. And that is just not a good feeling. And one thing I've taught myself is that I am never going to be upset at someone because they couldn't do something for me that I could already do for myself. I'm not going to put myself in that position. So I've tried to cash in some of those checks and they bounce like a mofo. They just bounce all over the place. So I'm like, damn, you know, and that just irritates the entire heck out of me. So and it messes up everything. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to place any of, you know, my success or my performance or my ability to complete something on what someone else can do for me, because it's not as important to them as it is to you, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I have also found that really the only person that has always been there for me like that, I'm like, even in a pinch, you know, it's been my dad. You know, my mom would do it, but my dad, I mean, he would be on his deathbed and oh, you need me to take you? I'll get up right now and take you. And I'd be like, no, you don't have to do it. So no, and those were like, you know, those checks I would save up because I'd be like, I'm going to wait for a really good moment, you know, and because my dad's going to come and get me. Which I was in a car accident and I was like an hour and a half away from home. Guess who hopped in the car to come and get me? My dad. That was the one person I knew I could call. He came lickety split. It wasn't no hemming and hawing or, oh, wait till the game is over or really? Or you can't there's nobody else you can call? No, I call my dad. He's going to be there. So my thing is with him, I wouldn't call unless I really needed it because I know he'd be on his way. And then you hate for it to be a false alarm and he'd get there and you done wasted his time. So no, I was always for sure with my dad. So no. And then with myself, I was raised that your word is your bond. Don't say it if you can't do it, because I really can't stand when someone does that to me. So guess what? Vonda is not going to say it if she can't do it. Now, I'm not going to be the first one volunteering because that's where they're going to stop. They'll stop at you and be like, any more takers. Be like, wait a minute, let's get about 7 possibles. I'll be the 8th, you know, the 8th possible. And so if all the first 7 don't make it, yeah, I will commit myself to do that. So I'm not going to say I'm going to do it if I'm not going to do it. I a stickler of my word. I'm going to stick to it and I'll do it. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. That would be a check that you can cash with me, you know, down to it. Because it's just so disappointing when people don't come through and then you're all stuck and all dejected. And it's a very sour feeling. It's a sour feeling and it takes a good minute for that to go away and it puts you all in a junky mood. And I don't like that. And I don't like for other people to dictate what my mood is going to be. And that would really dictate my mood. That would really kind of send me off into left field. And I don't like that. So no, I don't need that check. Keep it and I'll figure out something, you know.
I hear you. I had a situation where the supervisor I had quit, and this lady, she had taken over. She just came to check on us and all of that. So in this particular environment, let me see if I can describe it for you so you can get a feel. Okay, so if you go to the doctor, there's only a few services that's normally written for your services. Office visit and maybe a follow-up, and that's it. That's all you're going to get on the notes.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the hospital, hey, you got blood drawn, this test, that test. You saw this doctor came in, that doctor came in. So you have more work or more lines of service, in other words. So that was the situation with the work that we had. Either it's a doctor visit, quick, easy, or a hospital visit, more work. So what people would do is, before the original supervisor got there, or just even when this particular supervisor was just checking up on us, the people would grab the work, go through it, pick through what they wanted, and leave the rest. And I wasn't doing all of that. I'm like, no, I'm not doing all that. I come in, this is what the supervisor gives me, this is what I'm going to work on. So, of course, it's going to take me longer to do what I'm doing because I have the work that's, a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
And so the supervisor decided to say, well, your numbers are, low. I said, well, doing the best I can with what I have. And then next thing you know, let's say a month passed and we have another meeting. Your numbers are low and I'm concerned about them. I'm like, well, I'm doing the best I can, the type of work that I'm receiving. Well, is there anything I could do to help you? I said, yeah. I said, you can give me a fair share of the work. I said, if you give me just all hospital stuff, that's more work. Give me a mixture. Oh, I can't do that. I said, you can. I said, well, why did you ask me? Is there anything you can do? You could do that.
Right.
That would help me. Okay. I just told her straight up. So there was some retaliation done because, I stood my ground. And anyway, I ended up leaving that department, and that was that. But don't open up the door. Anything I can do. I didn't ask for any money. I didn't ask for any overtime. Didn't ask for a day off. We're only talking about the work here. You have the opportunity to give a fair share of work to be done. If you're concerned about the numbers, if that's all you're concerned about, give me what the numbers will be able to be reached. If you don't, you're going to get what you're going to get. And that's the end of that. I'm not going to be too concerned about it. I can only do what I can do. And a lot of people, they're afraid a lot of times to tell those that are over them that, that conversation. And it can be a hard conversation, but it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Come on, stop playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's an instance that happened some years ago.
Boy, I got a story of someone not being able to cash the check that their behind wrote. So now, and actually, this is the story of every referral my mother has ever given me in life, to the point where during this story, at one point, my mom says to me, next time I refer someone to you, run. Don't walk, run. I swear she said it. I was dying. Okay, so this is on, because it was like a string in a couple years of like 7 different people. My mom referred to me, from the wedding planner to this guy now, the mover. And every single one of these was just horrible experiences. Because see, what happens? They are. So this is where my mom is fishing for her people. It's through church, through Christians, right? Whether they're newly converted Christians or old Christians or whatever. And my mom likes to help Black people out. So if they say they got a business, if they say that they offer a service or whatever, right? My mom will automatically think of someone who needs that, refer you, blah, blah. So this guy now, my mom's been, counseling in church and whatever, and he says that, basically he's starting up a moving company, right? So, junk removal, moving furniture, whatever it is, right? He's starting up this business for himself. So my mom goes, oh, well, my daughter actually needs A, junk removed, and B, we just bought some furniture from a friend of mine who's moving back to the islands, and we need to get that furniture moved to her house. So this is perfect. It's kismet. we were going to have to pay somebody else anyway. So why not pay you? Great. Right. So my mom comes to me with this referral. And the first thing I did was look at her side-eyed, because at this point, that's 5 referrals that turned out horrible in not even a 2-year period. So I don't trust her. I don't trust her judgment. I don't trust nothing, right? I already know terrible, but she sits there and with her bright, sunny, believing in people's self. Oh, no. Trust me, Ruby. Trust me, Rubes. This time is different. No, this guy, I showed him all of the junk in the trunk because what happened was I had renovated the whole house, literally, I renovated the floors, this, that. I did it all myself. And then it was like, okay, all of the junk, all of the old stuff was just kind of being piled in the garage, right? So we had a lot of junk to throw away, and so we needed that gone, and then we needed the furniture. So she said she showed the man, because we had pictures of everything, right? Because we were getting quotes at the time. She showed the man all of the stuff in the garage. She showed the man all of the pictures of the couches. So it was the couches, a dining room set with 4 chairs and the table, 2 bedroom sets. Well, 2 bedroom sets and something else. I can't remember what the other thing. Actually, no, 3 bedroom sets. That's what it was. Because 1 bedroom set came to my house, and then a kid's bunk bed, and then an adult bedroom set went to another person. Again, a friend of my mom's. Because these referrals work out so well for everyone. So this guy now, and he says he has a big truck, man. Yeah, man, me have the big truck. Yeah, man, me come and we're gonna move all your stuff one time. Yes, me show up at 7 o'clock. We will put all the junk in there, and then we drop off the junk, and we go pick up the furniture them, and we drop off the furniture. We'll be done by 1 o'clock. Okay, we're gonna be done by 1 o'clock, right, sir? 1 o'clock. Okay. So he shows up at the crack of dawn, right? Okay, great.
Okay.
So now my mom's sitting there waiting, right? Where's the big truck? Because, we see this little teeny tiny dinky van parked like at the end of our driveway. So we're thinking, oh, maybe his friend is following with the big truck, right? Because that's a panel van. It's a very small panel van. That's not a big truck. And then we hear a ding dong. Oh, so it's him. Hey, yes, Pastor Rose. Hey, yes, hey. Hey, so where's the truck? Oh, the truck's right there. So now we walk to the end I swear to God, walk to the end of the driveway and look up and down the street because we think there must be a truck somewhere, right? Because this is not a truck. So, yes, man, it can fit. Yes, man, it can fit. What can fit? It's a panel van. No, man, we're moving lots of things. It can fit. Okay.
14 trips.
Vonda, thank you. Okay. So now we all go. Well, no, I'm lying. I ain't going nowhere. I stayed at home because I was preparing everything. But they all go, right? So Mr. Ruby, my mom's best friend, my mom, and this mover guy, they all go. Okay. So now they get to the place, right? And I'm waiting. It's like 11 o'clock now. Now, this lady lives like maybe an hour away or 45 minutes away. I'm like, how long is this going to take? I haven't heard from anybody. So I call. It's just chaos. They hang up the phone. I'm like, okay. So finally they get back. So they get back. It's about 1 o'clock. I'm like, all right, well, he's running a little bit late, but island time, whatever. Okay. So first thing they bring in is the bed, which is in pieces, right? Because it's like one of those. This guy, first of all, this guy dropped the corner of that thing on my new floor and on my stairs, not once but twice. In the bedroom, he dropped it so hard it took out a chunk of the floor about 2 inches by 2 inches. Just dug in deep. Yeah. Dug in deep. This man could barely carry this thing. If Mr. Ruby wasn't there, that would never have gotten anywhere. So I'm like, first of all, though, who told you there was a man here to help you? I pay you for a service. So why don't you have a friend here to help you? Why is it that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why we have no choice but to travel with you, because you don't have anyone to help you, but you knew what you were moving today, right? So they got like a few of the things up. He broke the couch. So he broke the legs on the couch in the middle, so that way if you try to sit on it, the whole thing would collapse because the legs were broken off now. Oh no, it came like that. It wasn't me. It come like that. It come like that. The couch came with no legs in the middle.
Yeah.
Is that seriously what you're trying to say right now, sir? Well, maybe someone took them off. Me, no. You think someone intentionally broke them off? Or did you break it, putting it in or out of that little teeny tiny, can't fit nothing panel van? Okay.
Oh my God, that would be so irritating.
Wow.
Right. So now they get about half of the stuff in. Not all the stuff, but they get like half of it in. So now he has to go and do the junk. So he goes to go do the junk. This man's trying not to put like half of our junk. Oh, just put it at the curb. If I could put the stuff at the curb, sir, I would have done that. None of this stuff can be at the curb. Oh, the tubs can be at the curb. Yes, the tubs can be at the curb. It was a full-on argument between me and this man about this tub. He was refusing to put the tub in. And my mom's friend was so mad. She finally was like, you know what? What's the problem? What is the problem? She's a Christian, so she's not going to cuss, right? But she's getting close. You can feel it in her soul, right? Because she's mad. And she's like, oh, this is the tub? Okay, fine. And then she starts lifting the tub by herself. That's the only reason why the man goes to start helping her. Because he was too lazy. He didn't want to put it into the van. It's not because of anything else. He just didn't feel like it. He thought it was going to be too heavy. So when this woman goes now and starts lifting the thing by herself, he's like, oh, because he was trying to say, it's not going to fit. We'd have to come back for it, blah, blah, blah. Oh, really? She started fitting it just fine. Fit right into that panel, that stupid panel van. That's supposed to be a big truck. So moving on. Now they go to, remember, we paid this man for junk removal already, right?
Right.
So they go to the junkyard. And the junk goes in first, and my mom's following in her car. And now the guy's like, they get to the booth. Guy's like, oh, okay, so it's going to be $175. And she's like, oh no, I'm just following that guy. Yeah, he said that you're gonna pay. What?
Oh no!
But I paid him for junk removal. I paid him money, $250 for junk removal. That's supposed to cover the cost of throwing away the junk, right? Oh no, apparently we paid him $250 for us to help him load his own panel van and then drive it to the, okay, right. And so it was at that point that my mom called me and told me, next time she refers anyone to me, don't walk, run.
Screaming the other way.
Yeah. He broke the bunk beds for the other house so badly, the woman wouldn't even, she's like, no, you go throw that out or whatever. That's garbage now. Like, you literally made this garbage. What am I supposed to do with it?
The house at this point, right?
Yeah, and broke the mirror for the dresser that she had bought. Broke that mirror, shattered it.
Oh no, that makes the dresser useless because the mirror is no longer intact.
Right, exactly. Right. So then, now remember that the last trip, which was going to a completely different city, not even our house, whatever, he asked Mr. Ruby for help. So he goes to help him. Right? This man gave for all of the work Mr. Ruby did, which was honestly a lot more of it than he did. This man made hundreds of dollars that day. Hundreds of dollars. And he gave Mr. Ruby a 20.
Oh, wow.
For his help.
Oh.
For his help.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Oh, by the way, that last trip, they left my house at 7, didn't come back till midnight. Okay? So this man arrived at my house the first time at 7 a.m. Okay? And my husband did not come back into my house until midnight. That is how long they were on this. And this man sitting there crying, sweating. Man, better me come back and do it tomorrow, man. Well, I never think it would take so long. It wouldn't have taken so long if you had brought a big truck that you said you were going to be able to see.
Right.
Right. So you wrote the check that you can't cash, and now you are mad at us that we think you should follow through on what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, I mean, if that is not a great example of writing a check that your ass can't cash, I don't know what is.
Okay. Wow. Welcome to the panel, Miss Regina. How are you? Welcome.
Hey, girl.
Hello, Miss Regina.
Good evening. Hello, ladies. How y'all doing?
Hey, girl. Hey.
All
Miss
right.
Regina.
I'm just chiming in right now. No,
Mhm.
I cannot think of a writing a check your ass can't cash moment. I'm just chiming in, listening to the ladies, enjoying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And
I
supporting.
gotta. Well, thank you. Let's see. I have another story. It
Oh.
is a work story.
Okay.
Now this one, preparing work. That's the best way I can describe it. Preparing to work, everything that you need. You got your training on. You got notes and all of that. And what else do you need? So I asked the manager for some more notes, a particular thing that I wanted. It isn't available. I don't know if anyone even created or thought about it before, but I thought about it because it is something that can be a little difficult. You'll figure it out eventually, but it just will make you stronger in your job. And I asked, and the manager gave me a roundabout answer. And so the first response was, "What?" And then he switched it up the way he said it, which was still roundabout, but he put it on me like, well, maybe that's something that you can create with your coworkers. And I said, so that's a no then, huh? And he said, yes. I said, And that was that. And the only thing about that is, again, if you ask someone, what do they need, how you can help them and all that stuff. We're at work now. I'm not talking about, again, I didn't ask for a day off. I didn't ask for a raise, borrow some money, borrow a car, nothing like that. Just a particular tool, a list of something that could help me. But no, I gotta know.
Wow.
I gotta know.
No. And that's not right. So no, that's not right. Because if I'm going to give you a task, I need to be able to give you the tools to create that, to make that task happen. Yeah, I'm not. That makes no sense.
I mean, I can do without the tool. It'll be a little bit more. I'll just use the word challenging. I'm not even going to say difficult. A little bit more challenging. But if you know that, and I've explained that to you, that this is a little bit challenging without this particular tool I'm asking for, and you have it, you can do it. All you have to do is just put your fingers on the keyboard and start typing, and then email it to me, and I have it. But just didn't want to do that. Just didn't want to do it. So I did find it funny that my coworker picked up on it immediately. She's like, "Ooh, Char don't like that." I'm like, I am the same. It doesn't matter. YouTube, State Street, wherever I'm still the same. It's not going to matter. I'm going to ask you, especially if you open the door. I'm going to ask. If you don't want to, then don't ask. I mean, that's why I was saying, as far as that open door policy, I don't like all these cliches and dog whistle language and all that. I don't like stuff that I hear like that. I hate to hear it because it's not sincere. I don't like it.
We call it the fluff. We got to a point where it was called the federal fluff. We're gonna just add this language in just to,
because it sounds good.
Make it, yeah, yep. That's all.
Yeah, I don't like the federal fluff.
Yeah.
And just like with we were speaking about this on other panels and stuff about Breonna Taylor and all this investigation and I'm so tired of the word investigation. I'm like, why is it when the person do wrong, it's just an investigation? But if it's your black behind, oh, we're gonna lock you up and all kind of stuff. So that's another term I cannot stand, an investigation. Like, you just lying. I mean, just stop.
And you know something that I learned today, and that I did not know, the term grand jury to me, and this is just me, my own little this Regina world. Grand jury mean that these are individuals who are beyond these little judges and prosecutors and attorneys and all that. That they're able to look at a broader sense of what actually happened, thinking that they grand, thinking that they're a little bit higher and or carry a little bit more weight. Well, and I don't care what TV says, but Judge Mathis broke it down what grand jury is on his Instagram page. What the grand jury does, it just allows the prosecutor to stand there, and most oftentimes it's a prosecutor that is not that does not have the qualities to actually present the case in a biased situation. Like, okay, but this happened, but this happened. They're gonna sell it in the way that they can, and I did not know that. And forgive me, y'all. This old lady did not know. I thought grand jury mean that was the highest of the highest court, other than underneath the Supreme Court. You know, that's what I'm thinking. You know, that these individuals have an opportunity to actually know the what happened, who was at fault, what and able to decide. And that was not the case in Breonna Taylor's case, and that's so unfortunate. There is even a juror now that's saying that the competency level of the prosecutor is being questioned now. And so there's and so it's really unfortunate how our judicial system is set up, and that we really need to revisit some things. I really believe that. I don't know who can get in there and can adjust and revisit, and we can realign these things, because that's not fair. That's not fair for the life of that young woman, or any other individual that comes behind a scenario or a situation like this.
Well, I mean, it's almost to the point now that when you guys hear that, let's just keep it a buck. Do you even think anything's going to happen?
Only if you tear up the streets.
Exactly. You don't even feel like there's going to be anything that's going to even happen. You know, when they say, "Oh, we're going to investigate. We're going to do something." You know, I used to years ago when I was younger, a little bit more idealistic. I would think, "Oh my God, yeah, they're going to investigate," and then after a while, you don't hear anything from it, and then you might read on the back page of the newspaper, "Oh." They were found innocent, or you know, they paid a $10 fine. You'd be like, "Is that it? That was the whole? That was the grand jury? That was the investigation? That's what it boiled down to?" And you're so deflated and disappointed. So you learn not to even depend on it. But I'm going to tell you something that I really hate when it comes to that. Okay, now, have you guys ever been in a situation or where you're better at doing a favor than someone who's doing a favor for you? Like, okay, for instance, you know, you told your friend, they said, oh, I'm moving on Saturday and I'm going to need your help, girl. You're going to be there to help me. You're like, oh yeah, I'll be there. And your word is your bond. You done said, yeah, I'm going to be there. So, yeah, we're going to start at, 8 a.m. and you're there at 7:30. You're there with your shoes on. You done brought a couple of people because, you want to do this great favor for your friend. And you help them out and you spend the whole day there with them and you get them moved and you just feel so great about it. You're like, oh my God, that's just wonderful. This is great. I helped my friend out. I feel good that I did something great for him. And then 6 months later, you move and they say, oh yeah, girl, I'll be there on Saturday. I'll help you. We'll start at 8 o'clock. Okay, 8 o'clock come and go. They ain't there. 9 o'clock come. They still not there. Then at 12:30, here they come. Child, I went out last night. I'm a little hungover, so I'm a little tired. And they proceed to not do a damn thing. Not to the level that you did when you helped them, quote unquote, with the same type of favor. They give you half-ass, of your money from that check. You didn't even full check. Like you gave them, they cashed out a $500 check with you, and when you got with them, it was like $2.50 worth of work.
Oh no!
You'd be like, well, damn, don't you feel cheated? How many times has that happened to you?
Ooh, it may only been once with that person, but yeah, it has happened many times.
Yeah, that has happened with me. So when it comes down to things like that, I just say, you know what, Vonda, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to enlist and hire a professional. Because with a professional, they have a listing of what it is that they're going to do. There's a price associated with it. If you can afford it and it's within your budget, you're going to pay them to do this. And guess what? You're not going to worry about it. And if they don't do it, they won't get paid. And you have everything to stand on because they have stated that this is what I do, when it comes to this particular job. So I have just learned not to depend on friends because friends will disappoint you 9 out of 10 times. And my thing is that if I had a friend that was like that with me constantly, it actually would affect our friendship because I would feel differently about that person. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to even put you in that light, in that regard, because it's going to make me look at you differently, and I want to still be friends with you. At the end of the day, I still like you. But if you're unreliable and not very dependable and irresponsible, I'm not going to even want to be around you. I'm going to be so frustrated that I'm not going to even want to be around you.
Oh, Sister Vonda, boo, it's coming. I hate to say that. Friendships and lifetime, it comes and it goes. Everybody is not meant to be in our lives forever. We have to, and I think that's where we have to understand that because it took me a long time to understand that. If I continue to try to have a relationship with you, and I'm talking about friendships, I'm not talking about nothing romantic. I'm talking about genuine, true friendships. We met drunk in the bathroom at the college dance. That's how we met. And you were drunk and you didn't know why everybody had left you, and I helped you get back to the dorm room and all that kind of stuff. And I thought that was a true bonding moment, and we hung and we did all that. But that doesn't mean a friendship that does not make. I mean, it can last for maybe what's the saying? A reason, a season, or a lifetime. Everybody's not meant to be there for a lifetime. We have to accept that.
That's very true.
We have to accept that.
Yeah.
That everybody's not meant to be there forever. I would love to have good friends that we've been forever. Char is what we that the relationship we have. It's been a blessing, but it's individuals that you cannot carry with you. They're just not meant for that ride.
Well, with that, I've learned to hold people accountable for the strengths that they have and not hold them liable for the weaknesses that they have.
And
You know
it's
what I
not
mean?
even about their weaknesses.
You know?
It's okay, but it's about your role in my life at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about you. I'm not. I definitely would not shed light on somebody's weaknesses ever, because I have my own. But I'm where you are and where I am, and if it's not matching right now, that's okay. That's
Mm-hmm.
okay. If it's not aligning and what you seem to think should be right and I'm not there, then it's okay to step back. And if we come back together, that's fine. But if we don't, that's fine too. We have to be okay with that. Yeah. I'm definitely not trying to identify anybody's weaknesses at all.
Yeah, meeting people where they are, you know, and that's actually a practice, you know, and it took me some years to get to that because, you know, when you depend on someone and you take them at their word, you start to see, you know, really who you can count on and who you cannot count on. And, you know, I've just learned to meet people where they are and not be dejected, offended, or disappointed, you know, by their shortcomings. Because you know what? In dealing with them, you know, I'm not the only one that has to run into those shortcomings. But what I'm not going to do is allow myself to have a shortcoming because of who they are. I'm not going to put myself in that box with that person. I'm just not going to do it. Because the disappointment sometimes is just overwhelming and it can be too much.
It happens. I've met people that say, "Oh, I support you. You know, I'll help you along the way, and even if you do better than me, it doesn't matter. I really concern and I want the best for you." And you see, that doesn't always happen. If you appear to be doing better than them, or for whatever reason they just decide, I'm not going to support you anymore. I changed my mind, I guess, or whatever. It happens.
It happens.
I would
That's
prefer you keep it to yourself. I mean, no sense of saying you're gonna help me, you support me or whatever, and you truly don't want to.
don't want to.
But
That's
you know, people do that. They have their reasons. A lot of time, if it is something that benefits them, then that's fine. They like, oh, okay, they'll say everything. But if it usually when it doesn't benefit them anymore, then they have no interest anymore.
yeah.
That's very
It's really.
Well, you know what? Like,
Mhm.
here's the thing, right? So you think about me and my best friend. You know, we've been best friends since we were 16. And a lot of things happened after she turned 18. Basically, so you think about it this way, right? The what's it called? The child no foster care. There you go. The foster care system dumps you at 18, right? So
Okay.
if you don't have you know, a good system set up for what you're going to do, or your foster family doesn't care or can't take care of you anymore or whatever, you're kind of out on your ass. Like, no one's taking care of you. And in this case, my best friend was in the foster system. Now, she had been working her whole life since she was able to work, and these people said that they were holding on to the money for her. So when she turned 18, they're going to give her the big lump sum of money. Here you go. Now go start your life. Only, you know, she turned 18. Where's that money? So now, but we were still in high school because back then there was grade 13. So, you know, you had your OAC year. And so we were still in high school, and she actually was living with me, you know, from right before she turned 18 until really when I turned 19, day I turned 19. And basically what happened was, I mean, she was not in a good place. She was in a dark place. She knew ultimately I was not going to allow her to just self-destruct. I wouldn't. I would not allow her to basically go down the path she would go down. I wouldn't have allowed it to happen because I
Right.
loved her so much. And so she did something that was real grimy. It's like the only thing she could have done that I would have been like, screw you, I'm done with you. She basically abandoned me on my birthday. She didn't just abandon me, she abandoned me to go chill with other people and then one of those other people used me as an excuse. So when she didn't come home, her mom called me the next day after my birthday looking for her daughter. Like, I would know where they are. So I was like, I don't know where your kid is. Well, they were getting ready for your birthday. No, they weren't getting ready for my birthday. If they did, they never made it. So you better call the police because someone might be dead. I don't know. But I didn't hear from them and I didn't see them. I was ready. I ratted them all out, dangerously. Good. Right? But
they did it.
They did it. And I was mad as hell. I didn't talk to her for like maybe about the whole month. And then one of the girls that she was with called and I answered her call. And she's like, well, why did you answer me? I'm like, because I don't give a shit about you. Like, I don't like you. You know I don't. I only tolerated being around you because you were my best friend's friends. I only let you be here because you were my best friend's friends and she wanted you here. So I don't care about you. So you can't betray me because I never had an agreement with you to do anything in life. Like, I don't like you. So I answered the phone. Yeah, no, I'm very honest.
Yeah.
Right. She's like, she's on the phone. And I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go. And then I hung up and that was it. I really legit didn't talk to her. And months went by and I bumped into her at the mall where I was working. She came into my store. It was nice to see her, at the same, not like I just let go of everything, but, it was nice to see her still and whatever. And we said, okay, well, we're going to talk about things. And, a few days later, actually, basically she got an eviction notice. She was staying with her father who's, she drinks a lot and unreliable human. And so, now she's going to get evicted from this place that she's been staying at for the last few months, very precarious, dangerous kind of situation for her, but at least it's somewhere to sleep. Now she's going to get evicted. And I said, I'll save her. She's my best friend. Like I said, I am the person who I will give you anything. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go. I have enough money to pay for the eviction, to pay that off. I have a car. All right, I'm going to go drive down there and go pay her rent. That's what I was going to do. And my boyfriend at the time took my bank card. My mom took my car keys. They would not let me go save her. Would not. I threw a tantrum. I was bawling wildly, hysterically. I was trying to fight them to get my stuff back because I needed to go save her because that's what I do, right? I'm not going to let her down. Because they're making me let her down. Like, I can't do it. And they said, first of all, she doesn't deserve your help after the way she treated you. But, second of all, this is not your responsibility. And sometimes you just have to let people go through what they're going through to, grow and whatever. And I was so mad. I remember I was livid. I was hurt. I was livid. I had to call her bawling, being like, they won't let me help you. Like, I know this probably sounds like a lie, but they won't let me help you. And like, I can't, there's nothing I can do. And she was like, okay, it's okay. And, then years went by. Like, honestly, years went by and she would call me when she was having a really bad day and things were at their darkest. And I'd basically, talk her out of, jumping off a building. And then, she'd disappear again because at the end of the day, we haven't fixed our friendship. She hasn't really, been able to apologize to me or anything like that. And, at some point she got herself on a good path and, she healed and recovered and whatever. And then she came to me, so I think we were about, it was right. I think I was about 25, 26. And she came to me and visited me. I had just had actually my first surgery and she came and visited me. And I remember we were sitting on my porch like for hours just talking and, the apologies and the explanations. And, because that's what she was explaining. She's like, no, I was destructive as hell for years. I was angry and hurt and I wanted to be something I know you wouldn't let me be. And I couldn't be as long as you were around. So I had to push you away. I had to make sure that no matter what, you would go away. And, I'm so glad actually that your family stopped you from helping me that day, because that probably would have pulled me in, but I wasn't ready to be pulled in because you would dropped everything, even though I had hurt you. Right. So, but she needed to go through all that. So, you have to let people go through what they're going through. Let people, someone, they're telling you something subconsciously. She told me subconsciously she didn't need my friendship right now. And I didn't give it to her. And when she was ready for it, she came back. And now, 10 years on, and, closer than ever, I'm the godmother to her son. She's been there for me through so many things. So, sometimes you just have to let people go through what they're going through. You have to let people do their self-destructing. You have to let people, treat them the way that they're treating you. So if someone treats you badly, if someone treats you like you don't matter or whatever, it's not on you to keep that friendship going. It's on you to say, oh, this is how you're acting. Cool. I'm going to let go of you then. Because there's, everything's happening for a reason, consciously or subconsciously. And if that friendship's meant to be, one day when they are ready and they are ready to and able to handle, reciprocating the kind of friendship you give, they'll come back. That's why I see it.
Okay.
I completely agree with that. There have been times, in my life where, I did not have that check to go in cash. So whatever it was I was dealing with, then girl, you got to pull it together, Vonda. You got to do it. There's nobody that's going to help you. This is on you. You got to do it. So you cannot be the ultimate savior every single time for someone. Sometimes you do have to stand back. Now, your husband and your mother, they probably told you very, very right in that moment, because you were willing just to drop everything to go out and rescue her. And they're like, hell no, she does not deserve it. And guess what? She'll be okay. And she was okay. And I know that was like the hardest thing for you to do, because you're so used to reacting. But what happens is, when you're one of those people that react and you're always so kind, you end up depleting, your savings of good favors. You get wore out by this one person because they've been taking and taking, you've been giving and giving, and mind you, you've been giving from your heart, but at some point you do feel depleted, you feel used, and it's like, and you start to get an attitude, you start to feel some type of way. So sometimes it is best to let people, and we're talking about grown folks. It's different. I feel completely different about children, because children are, innocent and helpless. But when we're talking about grown folks do what they want to do, regardless of how good or bad it is for them. And when you're dealing with a grown person and they're putting themselves in positions and they're constantly needing, oh, I started this fire, can you help me put it out? At some point, you got to say, you know what? I can't do it. However you choose to say it, like, hell no, I'm not doing it. Or, you know what? I got to go to work. Whatever it is that you use to not do it, you have to not be available in order for them to say, okay, well, Vonda's not going to come over here and put this fire out. So what can I do to put this fire out? Okay, there's water. I can use some flour. I can go get a fire extinguisher. I can wet down a blanket and put it out myself. But I'm gonna have to find a way to put it out, because if I don't, a whole bunch of other stuff's gonna happen. Or if Vonda's not gonna do it, let me call up somebody else. Who else can they call up and just, get on the whim like that?
Right.
And you may be the only person that really came through like that, which is why you are always the person putting out the fires for them. Because nobody else would do it.
Yeah,
you're right
I
about
agree.
that.
Yeah, but I will say this though, right? And this is where sometimes I do think it's important to, weigh a bunch of different factors, because, we keep attaching adulthood to this number, like, oh, well, when you're 18, you're an adult because the law says so. What the hell does that have to do with being grown? Right. And I think, seriously, I think we need to stop doing that. Like we put everyone who is over the age of 18, or, from 18 to 25, and then from 26 to 32, we put everyone inside the same developmental group. Like, well, if I was growing at that age, therefore they're growing at that age. That's not necessarily true. And so I think sometimes we do have to look at it and say, well, listen, is this person a spoiled brat who's used to everyone saving them? Or is this person in a place where honestly they do need saving? They're asking you to save them in A way, but honestly they need to be saved in B way. Now, what's B way, right? Because sometimes, right, people are asking you like, hey, so you see the show Intervention, right? For drug addicts, right? So these drug addicts, in essence, a lot of times what they are doing is crying out for help. While they're sitting there and demonstrating to you things that would horrify you and shock you and whatever, what they are telling you is, listen, I'm desperately hurting. I really need someone to help me because I don't know how to help myself. But they're not going to say that out loud. They're in fact going to tell you they don't need help at all, right? But that's what these interventions are, right? The intervention is that help. I see you need help. I see you can't save yourself. So this is me offering you the gift of help, right? Here, here's a center, there's a bed for you. All you got to do is say is yes. Oh, and by the way, if you don't say yes, we'll never talk to you again. So I guess you're out on the street. What? Now, even if the addict's mad in the moment, that is you helping them, right? Because you are giving them a shot at actually getting clean. You're giving them a shot at actually getting better, instead of, well, just figure it out. Well, you should just be able to stop the drugs. You're the one who started. Like, no, that's not how addiction works, right? So, that's not how depression works. That's not how, untreated mental illness works. That's not how so many things work. So, I think sometimes, and, not that I'm saying, oh, well, it's your responsibility to fix the world, because it's not, right? But I do think that sometimes we give up on people we care about, and we do actually care about the outcome, and we would do something if we thought it would work. We just don't see that, what they're asking us to do isn't the actual help that they need. And so we're offering them almost the wrong thing. We're offering them what they're asking for, but what they're asking for is what they want on the surface, not what they actually need.
You're right, because there is a certain type of help, that is necessary or needed in those types of situations. And my thing is that, at the end of the day, you're dealing with two people, me and someone else, and that person needs help, and I'm their friend and I love them. They're my friend. They love me. At the end of the day, I will, out of the kindness and the goodness of my heart, I will do whatever I can to help you. But if you are not willing to help yourself, there is absolutely no type of help that I can give you if you're not even willing to help yourself. Because I can sit up there and I can feed you, I can clothe you, I can change your bed sheets. But if you're still going out there drinking, getting drunk and throwing up and pissing, out my bed, and I'm constantly changing the sheets and bathing you and putting on clothes, I'm running myself into the ground. Now, I am helping you, but I'm enabling you at that point. And my thing is that it gets to a point where it becomes painful that I don't feel like I should have to compromise my happiness for your sorrow. I'm not willing to do that. I am absolutely not willing to do that. I'm not going to do it. I've been in that situation before because I felt it was my responsibility to help this person, because no one was going to give this person this type of help like I would. But my thing is that the person wasn't even helping. They were sucking up all of my help. But it wasn't just, it was sucking up help from me. It was sucking up my soul, because I felt like I was pouring water into a bucket that had a hole in it. It wasn't retaining, it wasn't holding. So at that point, I have to back the entire F away and pull myself back, because my quality of life was being compromised. And to me, I think that is selfish as hell, for you to keep impeding on my happiness and me to even let you. At some point, I have to say, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it. If you're not willing to help yourself and you're just comfortable with this cycle of me changing your clothes, changing the bed sheets, washing you up, putting, and doing this on a daily basis, and you won't even stop the mechanism that's creating all this, that's helping you. I'm just,
that's where the mistake is made.
Yeah,
see, you weren't helping though, right? You weren't helping. Enabling isn't helping. You think it's helping, right? Because it's helping a person who's not sick, who doesn't have a disease that is compelling them to destroy themselves, right? So for a normal person, if I have a friend who has cancer, yeah, everything you're doing is helpful, right? Or I have a friend who just happens to be homeless because they're down on the left. That's helping. But when you have someone who has the disease of addiction, right, what you were doing isn't helping. Enabling isn't helping. So even though you're doing it out of love, right, you're doing it to be helpful, you're actually not helping. Enabling by definition isn't helpful. But, you know, we think that it is, and we do it out of love, not realizing not only are we, you know, perpetuating the addiction and making it worse, right? We're contributing now to it. We have now developed our own addiction, right? Because it's a vicious cycle. Because now almost like you are addicted to the pain and the misery that is being caused by this person who's coming into your house and doing this and this and this, and then you're doing all of it, right? You are doing it. You are the one who's not drunk or high. You are the one who's totally in your right mind. You are the one who's not addicted to things. And you are the one who's still making these decisions. You're like, why am I doing this? And, you know, you'll ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? You know, I'm sick of you. I'm not doing this anymore. But then you do it again tomorrow, right? And ask yourself the same questions, right? Ask yourself the same questions. And so that's why I said, I'm like, you know, we have to realize, like, it's not actually being like, oh, I stopped helping when no, you weren't helping, right? You weren't helping by destroying yourself. You weren't helping by giving this person that, like, when I would do stuff like this. So I was an alcoholic, right? So I would do stuff like this when I was in the worst of depression, and, you know, combined with my alcoholism, I would do stuff like, okay, so the bar closed. I had forgotten to buy a 24-pack of beer at home, so I knew I had nothing to drink. And then at that point, I'd start panicking because now I'm going to have to feel my feelings or think or whatever, and I'm not drunk enough. And I would call my parents and I would threaten to kill myself unless they brought me alcohol, because it's their fault I'm miserable, right? So I would do stuff like this. And I mean, and I was being dead serious. I would have killed myself right there on the board, just to spite them, because I would rather just die spiting them than not have alcohol, because I'm an alcoholic. So I would do things like this. Now, that is a very cruel, mean thing to do to your parents, right? I felt like they were very cruel, mean people to me, you know, the last 10 years or whatever. But you're not thinking rationally. But you know what I was really doing, right, with making that call? Yeah, I wanted the alcohol right now. That's what I wanted on the surface. What I wanted is to stop hurting. Right? What I wanted is for the pain to end. What I wanted is to force them out of their beds at 3 o'clock in the morning because they cared enough about my life to stop me from killing myself. Right? That's what I really wanted. So it wasn't about the alcohol. It was about the love. It was about the lack of love. It was about the pain inside. That's what I actually was really lacking. Right? So that's what I was actually really screaming out for. I used to, when I was an alcoholic, I'd watch Intervention, and I would bawl my eyes out when they get to the intervention. I'd be like, how come no one loves me enough to save me? Right? I would sit there and cry watching these TV shows because I didn't know how to get out of it myself. And I would be like, why? I would just need someone to do this for me. And I would be out of it, but I didn't know how to get out. Right? So, you know, it's like we think that by allowing the cycles to continue, by perpetuating them, you know, by keeping them safe and warm and this and that, that we're showing, you know, love and whatever. And it's like we are showing love, but we're not helping. You know, and that's a problem. Or by shaming them and telling them this and that and whatever. And, well, you should be able to this and that. Well, why don't you just stop? Well, if you love me, you'd stop. All of those languages, it's like, well, that's not helpful. But how would you know that? Well, see, this is why they actually literally have treatment for families of alcoholics and addicts, right? Because you need treatment too. You need help too after you deal with addicts and stuff like that. Because they can't follow through. They can't follow through. They literally are going to constantly write checks that their asses can't cash. They cannot follow through on it. You will be constantly devastated. And at the same time, since you aren't sober, you are going to feel like if you write checks that you don't cash, that you are somehow being a terrible person. You know what I mean? So it's such a complicated situation, such a complicated place to be. And that's where it's like, when you start getting into mental health issues or into alcoholism and drug issues, that's to me where this issue gets very complicated. The writing a check where you're, you know, because some people don't care. But for me, I care because I can see, do you have control? Do you actually have control of it or not? Is it a disease or not? Because if it's not, and you're just a dick, okay, well then screw you. But if it's like a mental health issue or disease issue, well, you know, I see it slightly differently. Like if you're willing to go get help, or at some point someone weasels you into help and it starts helping and you start committing to that, you know, can I forgive you? Yeah. I think for me that's the point where, you know, you aren't a terrible person. You don't have malice in your heart for me. It's almost like you just didn't have a choice because you're just an unwell person, you know?
Okay. That's a mouthful right there.
Yeah, I mean, that can be a really touchy thing when you're talking about any type of substance abuse, you know, and I'm, you know, in the world that we live in, I'm sure at some point or another. We've all dealt with, you know, someone in that situation or been in that situation ourselves, you know, and you do have to, you know, play it to a point where you, as the person who is the helper, that you don't become an enabler and that you don't overextend yourself. You know, one thing I've found out about human beings are very, 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 very resilient. We're a very resilient people.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is that, you know, it's not your job or responsibility, and unless we're talking about children, you know, to save everybody. You know, at some point there is a self accountability. There is a, you know, some responsibility of that person that they actually have to do some things themselves. And until they're willing to do those things themselves, there's nothing you can do for them. You know, now my thing is, you know, when it comes to someone who is, let's say, in that position, you know what? I would feed them to no end. I would share my last meal with someone like that. Because you know what, at the end of the day, everybody needs food. I don't care if you're a drug addict or if you're homeless or, you know, you're rich and you have a lot of money. Everybody needs food. So you know, the way I grew up, you know, food was showing love. It was showing caring. You know, food doesn't pay the bills, but food fills your stomach. And when you have a full stomach, I mean, there's a lot of worries you don't have when you have a full stomach. So when it comes to something like that, you know, hey, I'll feed you to no end. Someone came and knocked on my door. Oh, you need something to eat. I would feed you to no end. Now we started talking about, you know, oh, can you stay here? Wait a minute. I'm not sure about that, because that's going to be a whole bunch of other things that's going to come with that. But to feed somebody, for me, it, you know, it doesn't cost anything. They're right. I have food right here. I will feed you to no end.
But did you know that's actually, it is enabling? And see, when you give an addict any kind of help, whether it's a roof, like shelter, whether it's money, whether it's food, whether it's clothing, whether it's an alibi, whatever it is, right? What you are doing is you are making their life as an addict easier. And the easier their life is, the less likely it is for them to hit rock bottom.
True.
Right?
That's
yeah.
True.
So because now they have $10, but if you feed them, they don't need to spend any of that $10 on food. They can spend all of it on crack, right? So and I mean, as messed up as it is to think about that, or now if you feed them now, well, shoot, they can go probably good 3-4 days without worrying about food again. So they're good. So now they have to worry about that. Now, if no one feeds them, right, eventually they're going to get to the place where they are feeling starvation. And they're feeling, you know, the withdrawal, they're feeling, you know what I mean? Like you need to drive them to a place of rock bottom where it's like, literally, I see death around the corner and it's either I die or I live in this moment. And, you know, the easier we make their life, the less likely it is they'll ever hit that rock bottom. And so it's like, as hard as that is, because I get you, and I was exactly the same way. I was exactly the same way, right? I'll give you a ride. I'll get you food. You know, there's a bunch of things I would do for people. I didn't see it, probably because I was, you know, an alcoholic too. So I didn't see it as being problematic at all until I was dealing with an addict, right? Till I was on the other side and I started doing the meetings, Al-Anon, right? And then learning the Al-Anon rules and stuff, and that was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow. They're trying to tell me I'm enabling. I know what enabling is. I ain't no enabler. Da, 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 da. But then, you know, I started learning about it, and I was like, oh, you know what? You are damn right. Oh my God, I am perpetuating this. I'm perpetuating this. I didn't even think I was. I thought I was doing a great job, right? I really did. I thought I was doing a great job of not being an enabler. No. And right, but that's why they have the Al-Anon meetings, because how the heck would you know? How would you know unless someone teaches you? And that's why I love that, you know, you don't just have Alcoholics Anonymous, you have Al-Anon for family, you have Al-Anon teen for kids who are dealing with an addict in their families. So I mean, you know, it definitely, if anyone who's listening to this is struggling with this right now and you don't know, or you think, you know, listen, at the best, even if you are doing everything perfect, great place to go get support, you know, and a little bit of information and whatever. And they'll also help you set up a game plan for that moment your addict hits rock bottom and they call you and say, okay, I need help. then you'll know where you could drive them, you know, where you can get them a bed, where you can who you can contact, you know, you can set up a game plan for that one magical phone call, you know?
Yeah. I'm trying to think, how did I find out about the meetings? I think I was having a counseling session. Yeah, I think I was, because I know with your jobs, a lot of times they give you 3 sessions for free. And once I found out about it, I started taking them. I'm like, these are really great. I don't know what people cry about, you know, counseling. I thought it was excellent. You learn something new and can improve. But I wanted to mention, Vonda, when you mentioned about moving, I didn't want to interrupt. I said, hopefully I wouldn't forget. But I kind of chuckled because I have a friend and he called his friend to help him and his mom move. And I just happened to know this dude because I dated him for a short time. And he came and showed up for an hour or so, said he going to the store and never came back. Isn't that something?
Wow. I've had to deal with that. I've had to deal with that. I'm like, oh gosh, this is not an even favor. This is not an even favor.
I mean, why did he even volunteer or, you know, say he would do it and not help? You know, come in for an hour or so. I guess he moved the couch and then he's like, man, I'll be back. And he would actually, my friend had told me that he had stayed away from them for a while because his mom was going to say something. I'm like, I don't blame her. I would say something too. So he was afraid to confront the mom. So he stayed away from them for them for about 6 months. He's a coward.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, that just, you know, it, like I said, it just irritates me that people say things and they don't mean it. I'm like, you don't have to say anything. You don't. If you bump into each other on the street, hey, how you doing? It's been a long time. Hope you're doing well. See you later. And that's it. Don't. Well, you know what? We should get together. Oh yeah. You know, we can go over here and I don't know. If the other place that we used to go to 5 years ago is still open, but you know, we're going to get together. Yeah, give me your number, girl. And you know, you have no intentions of seeing that person again other than just in passing. So stop playing. Please stop playing.
Well, Char, now don't be so hasty with that. Now, I have actually seen people that I haven't seen in a very long time. And you know what? Usually you will see people out and about around the holidays. Now we're getting ready to roll into the fall season. I don't really, you know, celebrate holidays. I don't celebrate them anymore, but you're still going to see people because people are going to be out and about. And then you'll see someone and they'll say, hey, you know, oh my God, you know, we need to get together. You know what? We sure do. I mean, and in the back of my head, I might be thinking, no, we don't. You know, but I'm not going to say, you know what? We really don't. You know, I might be genuinely happy to see that person because I haven't seen him in a while, but I don't feel like, you know, sitting down and breaking bread with them. And to be honest, they don't feel the same thing with me, you know, but it's just nice to say, you know, it's great. You know, I'm glad you're doing well, you know, and peace to you.
See, Char, I told you categories. Vonda falls into 1B. See?
Oh yeah, you have those.
What's that? A first class bitch? What is that?
No. So it was reasons why people say one thing but then don't follow through. And so I said there's 2 categories. There's the ones who say it, and at the time they say it, they know they're not going to follow through. And then people, and category 2 is people who say it at the time, they actually do mean it, but then don't follow through. So I said from the category of people who say it and know they're not going to follow through, there's 2 groups. There's the ones who, the ones who are doing it to be users and to, you know, to try to manipulate something, to try to benefit or gain from the promise, you know, yeah, in the future I'll meet up with you, but today help me out on this, right? And And then there's B, the people who meet, like it's just like they're like, oh, you know, at one point we were really close, and I used to really like you, you know, and it's really cool to see you and everything. I don't want to hurt your feelings or anything. I want you to know that you were special to me at some point, but I've got a whole life and a lot of friends already and whatever. I don't really need a whole nother friend or responsibility right now, but I don't want to hurt your feelings. So I'm going to say this thing to let you know that you used to be special to me, and hope to God that you understand and you see it the same way, so that way we could just be like, that was nice, and walk away. Right? Just so I said you fall into one B.
Again for a year and a half, you know?
Yeah. I was like, and then you literally described it. I thought that was so great. I'm like, see, 1B. Perfect. Like you.
Well, yeah, it's not absolute. It's just, you know, it does happen, and I just hate that people do that. But yeah.
No, because you know what though, and I think that's what like the difference is, right? Like you can kind of, I don't know. It depends, because there are people that I do I think all of the categories with at some point or another. I do feel like, yes, I have even done 1A before. I do feel like I've done all of the categories before at some point or another. It depends on the person. It depends on what our connection was in a previous life. It depends on why we stopped talking. It depends on where I'm at right now in my life, what's going on, how busy am I, you know, what else is going on. Like there's so many different factors that come into play when you accidentally bump into some random person you haven't seen in how long in the streets. Like you can't plan for that. Like sometimes I bumped into people and I've made that statement, and then I've thought to myself, man, I wish I had seen them 6 months ago when, you know, my schedule was so clear, you know, or man, I wish I had bumped into them before so and so happened with my grandmother's health, you know, like it's just like I wish it was better timing, but it's not better timing. So what am I supposed to do about that? Like, there's only so much I can do. Like,
this is what you do, Ruby. I'm going to tell you exactly what you do. Have you ever been in a crowded store and you see someone that you haven't seen for a while, and you're like, you know what? I don't feel like seeing them. I'm going to go the other way.
Fonda, no.
I did it, Char. Shh. I didn't.
Girl, you know I have.
Fonda, no.
And you're like, oh my God, you know what? And it's nothing bad against the person. I'm like, you just don't feel like going back down memory lane. You don't feel like saying all of those things that you really don't mean. Like, let's get together. You know, let's hang out. And you're like, oh, you know what? I don't feel like doing this. I need to get home. I'm tired. I've been at work all day. Let me just go check out. So I'm going to go all the way around and go down to register 12. You know, and hopefully I'll miss this person. I have actually done that. And I'm going to tell you. So don't look at me all crazy. I have actually seen people see me, and I know the freak they saw me, and they did the same thing. And guess what? I was okay with it. I was freaking okay with it. I was like, okay, good. That's great. Yeah, I know. Thank God, yeah. But my feelings were hurt. I was like, good, because I don't want to talk to you either. So that's great. But I'm glad you're doing well. You look great, and I just go on about my business.
Yeah, right? Like, listen, I don't need to talk to you anymore to figure out what happened with your life, because that's why God invented Facebook, right? So that I could stalk your life silently. Be like, oh, cool, you married? Oh, you got 3 kids? Oh, they're about these ages. This is their names. I don't need to talk to you anymore. That's what I have Facebook for. So I have to really like you to want to stop and talk to you in the mall. Like, being real, right?
I know she saw me. She looked me dead in my face. I know she saw me. But, okay, she didn't want to talk to me. And I was like, good, because I don't even want to talk to you either.
Yeah, you don't want to talk to her.
Great, you look great from a distance. That's what I'll say to myself. Oh, you look great, girl. And I'll just keep going. You know,
right? You got to see her. You know what it is, Wanda? You got to see her. You got to be like, oh, you know what? She doesn't use Photoshop to make herself look thinner in pictures, and then that's it, right? Like you just get to know that about what she looks like and move on. Like it's the real life thing, right? Her photo. Oh look, her photos aren't airbrushed. Oh, look at that. Oh man. Oh, that girl. Oh, she's a good 30 pounds heavier than she looks on Facebook with the last picture she posted.
I'm not the only one lying. I mean, it's just sometimes life is so busy. And you know what? It's just like sometimes you just say to yourself, you know what? Not today. I just don't feel like it today. And then there are those times where you run into somebody and you be like, not today, and it happens. And you're like, you know what? I'm glad I did say hi to them. I'm glad I did talk to them. I feel so much better that I did talk to them. I mean, it's like you say, it just depends on the person. You know, it depends on, you know, what the separation was. Is it just, you know, because our lives are busy and we just haven't seen each other, you know? And my thing is that, you know, I don't have room in my life for 20 best friends. I don't. Because if I had 20 best friends, I'm going to talk to them. You know, I wouldn't even talk to them once a month, you know, because, you know, I enjoy my time to myself. I do have other things that I'm doing. You know, I don't like to feel like, you know, oh, well, I can't do this because this person wants me to do that. You know, I want to be able to do, you know, what I like to do in my spare time. And, you know, when you have kids, when you have a spouse or a significant other, it really makes it hard for you to divide your time with a friend. You have to make time for a friend.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes, you know what? Well, on Saturday I am off, but I don't want to spend my off time with someone else, you know, being on. I want to be off. I want to be on my off time. I want to relax and I don't want to catch up. So sometimes you just want to just have your own time, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I think that's fair. And I think the thing is too, right? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, it depends on the characteristics of the person I'm seeing too, because there are people that I feel, right, when I knew them at least, they had good social etiquette. They had good social judgment. That is to say, they could tell, for example, when you were in a hurry. So they just bumped into you quick. They just want to say a quick hello, you know, move forward. Or, you know, they could read body language really well. They, you know, they were good at making conversations flow, so on and so forth. And then you got people who were a little bit more socially retarded. And so their conversation was a little bit more awkward. You know, they didn't understand when you were like, okay, but I really got to go. They'd be like, okay, just one more quick story or something. And you're like, oh my God. Okay. I have to go. Right. So then you feel like you need to flee. Right. And so those people that you feel like you need to flee from, those are the ones that I low key am hiding from in stores. Right. Like, because I don't want to have to flee from you, bro. And then you're gonna corner me and you're gonna be like, okay, here, what's your phone number? And then if you give them the phone number, they're gonna call it immediately to make sure your phone rings, to make sure that they have it in there right and stuff, right? Because they're gonna stalk you. Like, no, I just want you not to see me, because I know you're gonna see me look dead at you. You're gonna see me turn my head the other way. You should take that as a sign, but you gonna chase me down the aisles. Ruby, classic Ruby, right? You're gonna be one of those people, right? So Jesus. It really depends on the person. It does, right? There are some people in life, especially if you knew them from high school, right? Because in high school you did have some friends that were just annoying humans. But you're in high school, you're in the fishbowl that is high school. So there's a lot of people you tolerated as friends that, you know, you probably wouldn't put up with that as an adult. And you remember those things. Or as, you know, the tag along kid who wants to tag along at everything you did. And you were just kind of like, fine, whatever, just come. Right? So you know that. It's like not everyone you know from your past is someone you liked in your past. Like, let's be real, right? I try to be fair, but come on. Come on. You know, some human beings are just annoying people. They're just annoying people. It just is what it is. Like,
well, I can deal with anybody for 5 minutes. You know, if we're at a store and we got 5 minutes and, you know, I can say, hey, how are you? And I'm so glad to see you. And that's wonderful. In passing, that's great. But I have this friend. Now, going to stores with her is very difficult because she knows everybody. And when I say everybody, she knows everybody. A 15-minute trip to a store can be 3 hours because she's got 20 minutes of conversation for everyone. I can say, oh, hey, girl, how you doing? Good. And she'll start and she'll say the same thing, but then it will take off into a whole dramatic conversation. And I'm just like, wow. Okay, we were supposed to only be here for 15 minutes and it's been 45 minutes and she's still talking. I'm just like, oh gosh. And for me, that got to be very long and arduous type of trip, and that to where, I go very sparingly to different places with her, only because she's that type of person. And I just know her personality. That's her personality. I'm a quick hi and bye. Oh, it's good to see you. Hug, or elbow bump, because nobody wants to hug anymore because of Corona. I'm cool with it. That's fine. But her, on the other hand, she's got 20, 25 minutes of conversation for each and every person she comes into contact with. And I'm just like, I'm over it. I am over it.
Yes. See, and girl, your friend is one of the ones that I'm hiding from. Because when she sees me, now I'm stuck in a 20-minute conversation. I just wanted to say hi for 2 minutes. My God. Really? I don't care what your kids do. I don't care how old they are. I don't care they graduated.
An endless talker. She will start and she will go through each of the kids and, and your kids, and, how's your mom doing? I'm like, I don't even know her mom. She knows the mom, and and your auntie, she knows like the whole family. So she will go down the line and then, well, you heard what happened to such and such. And I'll just be like, oh my God. I was like, girl. And I'm like one of the kids be like, Mom, can we go? And I just be like, yeah, girl, can we go? Right? And then on top of that, I won't be the one that'll be like, okay, well, let me go to the car and wait. And that will kind of push her along. My ass will be waiting in the car 3 hours. I'd have to get out the car, go back in the store and say, girl, is she talking to a whole different person? I'm like, oh, I said, well, you know what? We won't be going to the store no more because too many damn people and you guys to find out about the whole damn family. And I'm just, how's your mom doing? And your dad? Well, tell your sister. I remember I was on Facebook and I was like, oh, girl, no. She does that. She's very, cordial, very, and I'm like that. I'll speak to everybody, but mine is like, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. And you know what? I'm going to say that is a Libra trait. She's a Libra. My ex-husband's a Libra, and he would do the same thing. I just be like, oh my God, you can't just say hi and let's keep it moving. He would start saying hi. He would even talk to people. Now, he lived in the place where I grew up. So this is, my hometown. He became friends with people I didn't even talk to, but I knew them. I've known them since like 5th grade, but they'd be like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? And I'm like, dude, I don't even talk to these people, but he would have full on conversations. And I just be like, oh my God, can we like go? Can we
go? Like, no.
But he just, and that's just being a social, cordial person. And, I'm cordial, but I like to keep it short and sweet and let's keep it moving, So I'm always, I'm on my way somewhere, Every now and then I can do the 20-minute conversation, especially with somebody, I'll be like, oh, I haven't seen you in a long time. I've thought about you. It's so good to see you, and then you will kind of catch up. But with everybody, hell no. I don't have that kind of time. I don't have it.
Oh, you need to clear your schedule.
Not at the grocery store, especially when your stomach is growling. You're like, I just came in here to get something quick because I'm hungry.
Okay.
It's like, and here we go 45, 50 minutes later.
Right. Oh yeah, no. I could do one worse because I know a girl that don't know anybody. Or she might. It don't matter. Because everyone she talks, everyone she passes, she has 10 minutes of conversation for. She don't know this girl. Oh my God, I love the bow in your hair. Where did you get it from? Oh, I can't remember. Really? Because I've been looking for a bow like that for my daughter, actually, because she's going to do this modeling thing, and she needs the bow for the modeling thing. Like, did you get it from this mall, or did you get it from like a booth, or like did you order online? Any idea at all? No. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, honestly though, the bow looks really, really good. Can I give you my email address, and then if you remember where you get the bow from, you could email me? Like, okay, so that's person one, right? So we keep walking. This person one, we go into a store. Hey, can I help you ladies with anything? Okay, well, now since we're here, do you sell men's sweaters? Yes, okay. Okay, my fiance, right? He wants a sweater, but his issue is his arms are long, but his shoulders are narrow, right? Now, I'm not going to buy the sweater today, but I want to see if your clothing generally accommodates that type of body build. Now, also, he's short, but like he's not that short. He's like 5'8", 5'9", right? And he has like a really big head. So overall, we want a sweater that's going to accommodate his shoulders and make them seem a little bit bigger, right? But at the same time, it has to be a color that goes with his eyes. Okay, so his eyes are like a chocolate brown, right? And they're like kind of big. You know what? Maybe I should get a picture. Hold on, I'm gonna get a picture for you.
I am not shopping with you. That's you. That's
not me. That's my girl.
What I did with my friend, I just got to the point. She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna run to the store. You want to run with me?" No. Girl, call me when you get from the store. You know, we can hook up after you come back from the store, because I've done enough of those store trips with her to know that if I don't have 3 hours worth of groceries to buy and I can just pick up my little gallon of milk in 5 minutes, this is not going to be a worthy trip for me. My milk will be spoiled by the time we leave.
Right. Girl. Man, I'm telling you, I would go Christmas shopping with this chick. I would come home. I was at the mall all day, 10 hours, come home with 2 things. Why? How did I shop for that long? 10 hours, and I only have 2 things because we only went through one mall.
She is like a shopper, like nobody's business. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm done. She's like, oh, well, let's go to this one. I'm like, girl.
She's still going.
Girl, are you for real? So yeah, I've learned to like dial back, or we ain't riding together. I'm gonna drive my car. So when it's time for me to pull out, sis is gonna back it up, bag her stuff up, and she's gonna pull out. I'm not waiting for you. I'm telling you, it could be we can leave at 10 a.m. and we won't get home until 10 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
And like you say, I only got 3 items.
Right? How? I've done that and come home with nothing. Somehow. We didn't even go to the store I wanted to go to. How did this happen? I'm gonna be so mad.
I'm telling you, I did this so much that and then every time I did, I'd be like, Vonda, no, you didn't put yourself in the trick bag again. You know, I'm gonna use Julian's trick bag. I'm like, oh my God, I done put myself in the trick bag again. Why did I do this? Why did I do this?
Girl, at one point, this became so excessive, right? And so regular that I had decided at the time I was going to make like a TV show I was going to put on YouTube. And I have like thousands and thousands of hours actually of like raw footage on cameras and stuff. I just never put it onto computers and edited it. But of just like I would just record her walking into stores to talk to convenience store clerks or whoever, because the things that will come out of her mouth sometimes, but you're like, why are you having conversation? Ask them for the cigarettes and for the scratch ticket, and we should be done in 10 seconds. Why are you still here? Why are you still here? How did this conversation even happen? How are you now in a place where like he's low-key gonna call the cops on you for like assault because he thinks you said this word instead of this word? And why did you even say that word to begin with? Why are you talking to him? Right? Like
you're be getting a recipe. Oh, does your mom still make the? I'm like, girl, are you serious? You about to get a recipe? No, let's go.
She says yes.
No.
Right? Yeah. Real quick.
That's this and that, and yeah, okay, hold on. Let me call my mom. I'm like, oh no, y'all gonna really sit up there and call her mom so that she can get this recipe right now? You can't just text her the recipe later?
Well, and you know what? She is the epitome of the ultimate extrovert and the ultimate, socialite, right? And see, for those of us who are not socialites, we cannot comprehend the mind of the socialite because we can't even understand why this is enjoyable for you. We can't. Even if it was me and my friend and I don't find this enjoyable. In fact, you know what? I find small talk so unenjoyable that unless my family texts me and in the text message it says something relevant, like something we can talk about, a thing happened or whatever that you want to discuss, I won't answer you. If you just say, hey, how you doing? Hey, how's your day going? Hey, just wanted to touch base with you. How are you? If anyone sends me text messages like that, I don't answer them. I don't have small talk. I find small talk annoying as hell. I will not have it. Or like if you call me and you do that, I'll be like, fine, what's up? Oh, I just want to see how you're doing. I'm fine. So nothing's up? Like I'll do that. Like, so you better find something to talk about. You better tell me someone's dying of something, or someone's cat got run over, or you better tell me something. There has to be some reason why you made me answer a phone today. What do you want? Right? So I'm that kind of person. So I can't understand why you care. Right? I don't even care to troll through Facebook and be able to see it when I'm bored. Like I don't care. I don't care at all. Right? But some people do, right? They're the ones who would be in a village, right? They're the ones who bind the village together. They're the reason why the village stays interconnected. They're the reason why, the kids all grow up knowing each other. And somehow, even though you're antisocial as hell, you happen to know all the other families too. They're like binding glue of villages and communities, right? So I guess you need them. You need that kind of person. I'm just not that kind of person, right?
Mhm.
So like you said, if you want to do that, you are free to do that, just not on my time anymore, right? Once I passed 30, I was over it. Like under 30,
where you'd be like, you can almost smell it coming, and you're like, oh hell no, nope, we are not about to do this. I consider myself an extrovert introvert. I'm an introvert person. I pretty much keep to myself, but I can be very social and I can talk to anyone. But
right.
My thing is that I want to do that when I want to do it, and there are some people who are just like that. She is the type of person, she will, oh yeah, she works in the office at the kids' school, and she will have a whole 45-minute conversation with the secretary from the kids' school. Because, oh yeah, and your daughter, she used to go to school with my son and she knows the whole family. And I'm like, girl, you know all these. I'm like, ugh. And I just like vaguely remember the lady, where I had to send a note to my son's school, and I vaguely remember the lady. She know the lady. Oh yeah, her mom used to work at such and such. How do you know her mom? That's just how she is, and I'm just like, okay, girl. But she's just a very social person. She just knows the whole freaking family, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not going anywhere with you anymore. We have to be very specific. Now I've gotten to the point where I'm very specific on where we go, and I have to know where the social, interactions are going to be. But if it's a store or like a mall or something, that's a hell no. That is a hell no. We're not going, or we're not going together. I'm just not doing it because I already know 45 minutes into it, you're on your third conversation, and I'm just like, oh no, we got about 12 more to go. Oh no.
Yep.
No,
you know what though? That one thing, because I was thinking about it, right? And so remember, and I said earlier that 1A, that's the group that makes these promises that they don't intend to keep, in a manipulative fashion for them to gain. Well, there are people who are just genuinely interested, and people's families and this and that, the sociability of it all and whatever, right? Or the gossip of it all or whatever. But there are people who actually are like that, and they're like that because they are gathering intel for potential later use. That is to say this. So
yeah.
If I remember everything about your mama and your auntie and your uncle and whatever, I've always been super overly friendly and involved every time you've met me and seen me. And, you don't have a lot of that in your life to begin with, and so on and so forth. And I know in my head now, you are a detective within the police force, or you are, you work at the DMV, or you know what I mean? And now I'm going to remember all that. I store all of that. And I say, this person is worth investing all my energy into whenever I see them. Now, why am I doing that? Because one day I'm going to need to go to the DMV. And she's going to lock eyes with me. She's going to wave me up there. Why? Because I'm basically family. I haven't done anything for her.
You know what?
Right?
She gets it like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, her mom worked at the DMV, and there was a long line, and I didn't have to stand in the line. I'd be like, okay, well, damn, that would have worked perfect for me because I was just at the DMV yesterday and had to spend 3 hours up in that sucker.
And you had to exactly. You had to stick because you're antisocial. Now, if you had made friends,
it does work for you. And I mean, she's had people like make her food and just do these things. I mean, and it's because of her social ties. And me on the other hand, I don't want to invest all that time, and you know what, it you get what you get, and I'm okay with that. I am okay with that.
It's a trade-off.
Yeah, there's a big trade-off. I can get in and out of the store in 5 minutes. Her, on the other hand, 2.5 hours later, she's barely halfway done.
Right. Now, and I will say, I mean, also, she clearly, that's part of what she's doing for the day. So, I mean, for some people, they don't have a lot that they're doing with their day. So they make a trip to the grocery store. That's an event for them, right? So that's why they do it. That's why they know all the names of the people who work at the grocery store and this and that, whatever, because it's an event for them. Because that's the highlight of their day some days. Whereas in for me, that's never going to be it. But, I am also the person. So I halfway do this. I do halfway do this, but I do it in the context of, for example, so my disability caseworker, right? I remember everything she tells me about her life, everything. Even if she just says it vaguely in passing, I still remember. And the next time she calls me or whatever, or she wants some stupid form filled out or whatever, I ask her about a family, I ask her about a life, I ask about all kinds of things. And I am the most overly concerned person you could think of. I remember everything about her, right? I engage her in personal conversations all the time. Why? Because it makes her more likely to not be an asshole. That's just what it is, right? And I did the same thing with principals and this and that. Like, I had one vice principal that really liked me, but I'm very engaged, and I remembered everything she told me about herself, right? Because I realized she's going to be the one that's going to prevent me from being expelled. So, if anyone can, it's going to be her or whatever. So, targeted, right? And in my case, then, that's the user approach though, right? That's like more on the 1A level. I am literally being this person, remembering these details and blah, 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 because I am using it in order to gain favor with you. So that way the outcomes of whatever you say or decide or help me do or whatever is going to be more favorable. Right? Or the chick at the DMV or whoever, right? That I'm about to ask for some favor, or I know I'm not going to follow the rules properly and I really want you to break the rules. Well, if I want you to break the rules at the hospital while I'm visiting my mama and it's only supposed to be one person at a time and blah, 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 then I better be nice to you because you're used to people yelling and screaming at you and demanding stuff. And I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to be super sweet and understanding. And when you say no, I'm going to understand that too. And hey, guess what? Somehow or another, I get my way anyway. I said, I was on the floor. They do not there's no visiting on the operating floor. None. Zero. There's no one in the waiting rooms, no one next to the beds. There's no visiting right now because of COVID. Man, I was down on that floor. Then they told me there's no visiting. I said, but the guy said, the porter, right? The guy said, because I kept telling him, no, I understand. You came really early. Like they lied to us. They told us 7:30. It's not your fault. He's like, that was on the paper. I'm like, oh no, I totally believe you. It's not your fault. He said, okay, well, you can follow me down. Right. So then when we were talking in the elevator, guy from Jamaica, definitely need more Black people in healthcare. And then, then he said, okay, so you're going to have to go to the waiting area and I'm going to go to the OR and then you're going to come through that way. Tell them you need to come over here. So I said, okay. So I went and told the lady at the desk and she said, there's no visitors. And I said, but the guy said, right. And she's like, yeah, but there's no visitors. I'll call over there. So then she called. The nurse clearly didn't want me over there. He came and got me. He came to the waiting room and walked me to my mom's bedside. And the nurse was like, I told them that there's no visitors and she could come say a quick 2-minute hello. I have to check her in first. And I said, oh no, I totally understand. It's okay. I don't want to get in the way at all. It's okay. I'm really sorry. He just said I could come back. I didn't mean to do anything wrong. I am so sorry. I said it just like that, right? And she goes, it's okay, just sit in the chair. Okay, I'm so sorry. You just let me know. I'm so sorry. No rush. Right, I sit down. Trust me, I waited till she told me I could come. I was super nice to that lady who hated my existence. No, she did. She hated my whole existence. I sat next to my mom from 6:45 until 8:30 when they were wheeling her into the operating room. Sat right next to her. And then the lady, the one who hated me, she walked me to the elevator because I wasn't sure where it was. Right? And I had her laughing and joking around with me. Oh yes. Oh, you know. Oh, Oh yeah. Right? It gets you a long way, right? I don't have to like you. I might initially be annoyed with you, but I also understand that you are my mom's main nurse. You are the big kahuna down here. There is an inherent value in you liking me. I'm going to make sure you like me. Right? Like that's what it is. And I think that's what some people do. They're so invested in your family and your friends and your this and your that because they are programmed to try, to make sure that you like them or you have a reason to treat them well, which is good. It's good programming to have. I just think some people go overboard. That's all.
Well, what I've done with that is that, I've always hung out, with, people that, are different from me. So, I had one friend that was always happy. She was always smiling. She was always happy. And I'm like, what the hell are you always happy about? And then the other friend who talked to everyone, didn't matter who it was. She would talk to everyone, knew their whole family. So my thing is that I found positives in that, and just in myself, I feel that I am a student of life and I'm constantly learning. So I pull from my friends, I pull from their personalities, what I find to be the good things about them. And I'm like, you know what, that's not all bad. Talking to people and being, a social person is not all bad. Now, to the extent that she does it, I'm not going to do it to that extent. But what it did for me is it caused me to open myself more and to be a little bit more cordial, Right. And then with the friend who was always happy, I'm like, oh, what the hell are you always so damn happy about? And so I had to turn around and ask myself, what the hell are you so upset about? What's wrong? Or, what are you, and talking to myself, what are you so upset about? And to be honest, I was not upset about shit. I wasn't upset about anything. So it kind of, I grew as a person in these friendships that I had with these two women. I grew as a person because I actually took what I felt was the positive things about their personality, and I kind of incorporated it into myself, because like I said, I'm more of an introvert, I don't talk to unless spoken to, and I kind of brought myself out of that. And I can kind of see how people react to you when you react to them in a certain way, or when you have a certain demeanor. You can have a certain look on your face and people will treat you a different way versus having a different look on your face. Cause I'm like, why do you have this sour look on your face? What's wrong? What are you all sour about? It makes you, unapproachable and no one wants to talk to you because you have this sour look on your face. When in actuality, you could be happy as hell. You're like, oh my God, the sun is out, it's great, but you have this sour look on your face. I'm like, okay, well, Vonda, why are you walking around with this old, sour look? So it's like, no, brighten it up, sis, smile, and you'd be surprised at how people react to you. So I understand that a lot of that is within myself. So what I did with this is, instead of being, far left with the happy-go-lucky or far left with talking to any and everybody, I kind of, incorporated pieces of those into myself. I still consider myself an introvert. I'm a very quiet person. Sometimes I'm quiet to where people are like, okay, how come you're not saying nothing? Because I really don't have anything to say. I just like to listen to people, I really do, and then there are times where I can just be a talkative Tammy and just talk your freaking ear off. But I learned how to find a balance. So I just, I like being around different people, to a point, because I do pull those positive things from people, and I've learned from these women. So I appreciate our friendships.
You know what? I'll say this. For anyone who's trying to get, for example, the nurses, everything I'm telling you that I pull to get my way. Deer in a headlights is a very good look. So, because what happens is, right, you look mildly scared, mildly confused. It actually makes you look younger and more innocent. And so if you walk around with that look on your face, even though you're calculating in your head, right? Because you know what you're doing, right? But you have that face on at all times, right? Deer in the headlights, you're looking around wildly, you know, and you look young and innocent, and then they look at you and you automatically smile because you're just happy to see a friendly face, right? You saved me, right? So you are actually triggering their implicit need to okay, so there's a thing, right? In psychology, where if like for example, let's say there's a kid who was kidnapped, right? The officer who finds her, she clings to, right? That's why they tried to bring psychologists onto the scene to directly retrieve the kid, because the kid is going to cling to and latch onto the first person who finds them. And likewise, the person who finds them is going to cling to the kid. They're going to want to be extra protective and whatever, right? There's a bond that's formed there. So I am triggering that in their heads. I'm walking around terrified. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused. And then I see them and I automatically smile and I don't look confused anymore. And they saved me, right? Now they actually feel like they want to continue saving me. They don't want to let me down. They don't want to send me away unfulfilled, right? They want to help me. Right? That's because I look to them. They're my savior. They're going to save me. Right? So, you know, it's amazing, you know, Vaughn, bringing up the looks, but it's so true, because I actually do legitimately use it as part of my tactics. You know, and just like I over the phone, my tone of voice with customer service and whatever. Now there are some people who are just too stupid for life. Like I can't. And those cases, you know, there are just some days I shouldn't interact with people anyway, but I can't deal with really stupid people. But everyone else, right? My tone of voice is very pleasant. It's very sweet. But I put that same tone of voice in my voice. Oh, really? I thought that, okay, I'm so confused. Can you help me? Because I don't understand how this works with this. Now, I understand perfectly, right? But I'm going to say it like that. And like I'm lost and confused. And then they help me and I go, oh my God. You just broke that down in like 2 seconds. I've been so confused. Right now, all of a sudden I'm getting, yeah, right? Now all of a sudden they're crediting back late charges, give me an extra 30 days to pay, right? I mean, but
defer.
You know what? I'm telling you, Ruby, that worked for me one time. I got into a circular argument. It wasn't even a circular argument. It was an actual conversation. We went around in circles, and this was with AT&T, and I felt like they had overcharged me. And instead of, you know, getting my angry Black woman mad at them, I didn't do that. I just said, but I'm sorry, but I don't understand why, if it's so much money. I said, I don't understand. I said, this, that, and the third happened. And I went around and I kept saying the same thing over to where this woman was like, okay, you know what? We're just going to waive it. We're just going to waive it. And I was very pleasant. And, you know, and I was like, okay, well, but you know what? I just don't understand why I have to pay these extra fees. It's not making any sense to me, because this, that, and the third. And we did that for like 45 minutes, and I didn't get angry. I didn't raise my voice. I was very nice, very cordial. And she was like, you know, she put the time out. She's like, okay, you know what? We're just going to waive this. Yeah. You know, because basically I'm sick of talking to your ass. We're just going to waive this, and I'm just going to let it go, and we're just going to make it go away, because I really want to make you go away. You're nicest pie, you're nicest pie lady, but you know what? You're driving me up a wall. Yes. You're so freaking nice, and you're just not getting it. You know?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Basically a courtesy customer service type thing. But because I wasn't a raging, you know, crabby, you know, bitch, she was like, you know what? We're just going to waive it. So I had like $117 waived off of my bill, because I truly didn't understand it, but I wasn't going to argue with her about it. But I'm like, ma'am, but you're not listening. What I just don't understand why so much. And she was just like, oh, you know what? We're just going to waive it. We're just going to waive it, you know, because it was within her power to do it. And that's just the bottom line. It was within her power to do it. And, you know, I wasn't nasty to her. And my thing is that you don't have to be nasty to people. You don't have to be angry. And my thing is that, you know, I used to get in my own way, you know, like with my attitude. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. Everything doesn't have to be that way. You know, I've actually been in conversations, you know, like with clients, and I can see that it's getting ready to turn where they're about to get nasty with me. And I just, instead of taking it personal, like, why are you getting nasty with me? You know, I just go, no, it's not like that. I just totally go the other way. And I can watch them just flip and turn into a pillow.
Yep.
They totally flip and turn into a pillow. And I'm like, you know what? That just makes my job and my life a lot easier. And I'm like, it wasn't worth it to battle with them. But I mean, there are those times where I've had people that come in and they come in straight raw. And I'm like, okay, well, what you're not going to do is you're not going to talk to me like that. I'm not being rude to you, so you're not going to be rude to me. Don't use that type of language with me if you want me to help you.
Right.
I talk to them like a 5-year-old, and guess what they do? They act like a 5-year-old. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Because if I start calling you a whole bunch of, you know, B's and a bunch of names, then, you know, management's brought in, and then, you know, it's this whole big escalated, you know, disaster. And I'm like, no, I don't feel like doing that today. But you know what? You're going to be respectful because I'm being very respectful to you. If you like to help you, you know, don't talk to me like that. I don't deserve that. I'm being nice to you. And then you have people looking at you like, yeah, you know, why are you talking to her like that? Don't talk to her like that, you know? And then, you know, and it just totally works in your favor. So it does, you know, you can get a lot more, you know, bees with honey than you will with vinegar. And that's
so true. I'll I guess I'll say the last thing. Got a couple of minutes left. Customer service, that is the direction the world has gone in. You need people to help service you, whatever that is.
Absolutely.
Cell phone, cable, electricity, water, all those things. You have to make a phone call because a lot of the facilities now are closed. And that was before COVID because it costs, you know, it saves the company money not to have an actual large physical building. So they started making, you know, call centers, people working from home and all of that. So with customer service, it's a give and take. You give a little, you take a little. It's just the way it is. You don't have to be nasty, and a person should not respond in a nasty way. If you get a customer that is a little irate, you listen to them and you repeat back what they said without the curse words.
Right.
You know, I got my shut off notice and they're going to shut my bill off tomorrow. I paid my bill, and that's the most important thing. And they said out of all the cursing and everything, you repeat it back to them, let them know, okay, I'll be able to help you. What is the date that you paid the bill? Did you, you know, do it by check, you know, in the mail, debit card, whatever? And you show that you're trying to help the person. It calms them down.
Yep.
It calms them down. I've always been a person in all conversations. I ask when someone is talking, once they're finished, I ask them, is that what they said? I just, you know, shorten it. So you're telling me that if I get in line early, it's guaranteed I'll be able to get the sell price. And that way you have to give me a straight answer, yes or no.
Yeah.
If you get the dancing and stuff, then I know something's going on.
Yeah.
So that's how you should approach when it comes down to, you know, customer service, whichever end you're on. If you got a person that's nasty on the phone, when you call in, may I help you? Thank you for calling AT&T. May I help you? Okay. Yeah. And you actually sound confused.
Yep. And just sound so nice.
Right. You sound a little confused, like, oh, okay. I'm calling about a bill. And, you know, just flow with it. Just flow. And you will see that it will calm them down.
Yep.
And like I said, if you're on the other end, you do the same, it'll calm them down. So
that is so true. That is so true. It took me It took me a minute to really understand that and to get that. But when I got it and the first time it worked for me, I was like, jackpot. You hit the jackpot. Just chill out. Because it does not make me feel good to have to sit up there and cuss someone out because they're not going to want to do jack diddly for you. And, and sometimes we do have those leeways where I can do a little bit more for you. I'm not obligated to do more for you, but I will. But I'm going to do it. Exactly. You're so nice. You're pleasant to deal with. I've had people like say, "Oh my God, you are so nice. And thank you so much." I mean, tears come to their eyes because I can't believe how nice you're being to me. I was nice to a woman
because today, you listen.
And a gentleman stopped and he was like, "Oh my God." He's like, "I just want to, comment on how nice you were to that woman." And I'm saying in the back of my head, what, you thought I should have just cussed her out or what? But I was just being what I normally am. I deal with, elderly people, older people. And the thing that they enjoy about interacting with me is that I'm very patient. Because my thing is with them, they don't know any better. They need to know exactly what they need to do. And I don't have a problem with telling them. And I'm very precise. I'm very detailed with it. And I'm very patient because for me to rush through it, and if they don't pick it up, what good is that going to do?
It didn't help them.
Yeah, it's not going to do me.
Didn't help them.
Exactly.
So no, I've learned, and when you get older, you find your patience.
Hopefully, not all. I just don't understand. Not all. And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thank you for those who contributed to the channel.
Thank you, Sean.
You are welcome. Thank you for contributing to the conversation. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow for article reaction. And if you don't know what that is, well, we're going to close with the commercial. See you later. Peace.
Cheers, y'all.
Goodbye.
Hey folks, it's your nighttime, it's your right time DJ Music. Make sure you join Char Willie each and every Saturday, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central for article reaction, right here on your local YouTube channel. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe to Article Reaction.